Number 1. Geography makes Myanmar a conflict zone. Myanmar is a country whose geographical conditions have profoundly shaped its culture and history. Looking at a map of Asia, it's clear that the country sits a crossroads between two major civilizations, India and China. This has resulted in a highly blended culture, where influences from South Asia and East Asia intersect. Theravada Buddhism, originating from India, is considered the dominant religion, but daily life, rituals, and customs bear the imprint of Mahayana Buddhism intertwined with Chinese traditions. Visiting temples in Yangon or Mandalay, tourists can easily spot this blend. Indian-style stupas alongside familiar dragon motifs from Chinese art. In some northern regions, architectural styles are also influenced by Tibetan art, reflecting a network of cultural exchange spanning centuries. This crossroads not only creates a cultural blend, but also makes Myanmar a destination for many migrant communities from neighboring regions such as Tibet, Thailand, and Bangladesh. As a result, the country now has over 130 different ethnic groups living together. With so many communities seeking influence and status, political and social conflicts are inevitable. Historically, Myanmar's territory was fragmented into over 60 small states, constantly vying for power. Only 3 dynasties ever unified the country, but each lasted only about a century before weakening. Their short lifespans left the process of forming a unified national identity incomplete. Beyond historical and social factors, the strategic value of its geographical location also makes it difficult for Myanmar to achieve long-term stability. Situated at the gateway to the Indian Ocean, the country plays a crucial role as a transit point for the trade routes of the Asian continent. Therefore, both China and India have geopolitical interests here and do not want Myanmar to develop too strongly or become too independent, as this could alter the regional balance of power. Besides geopolitical pressure, Myanmar also faces serious natural threats due to strong geological activity. At the end of March, the country experienced a 7.9 magnitude earthquake, causing extensive damage with over 3,600 deaths and nearly 6,000 injuries. According to statistics, the total economic damage is estimated at approximately $11 billion, equivalent to about 20% of the national GDP, and aftershocks even spread to Thailand, causing a building to collapse in Bangkok. Worryingly, such seismic disasters are not uncommon. In less than 80 years since 1946, Myanmar has recorded 7 earthquakes with a magnitude greater than 7, while smaller earthquakes occur so frequently that it is difficult to fully account for them. This high frequency of natural disasters, combined with a fragmented social structure and geopolitical pressures, are key factors that keep Myanmar among the world's poorest countries despite its geographically promising location. Number 2. A discreet beauty that surprises the whole world. Myanmar women may not frequently appear on international beauty pageant stages, but that doesn't mean they lack charm. Many possess smooth, radiant skin and harmonious facial features, with large eyes and delicate noses, giving them a gentle rather than ostentatious beauty. This beauty is linked to their modest style of dress, especially the traditional long dresses that make their appearance more refined and soft. But when you look at faces like Chow, Mayad Noi, or Nangchin Zayar in modern attire, you can easily recognize the unique charm of Myanmar women. When strolling through Yangon or Mandalay, you'll often see layers of light yellow powder on the cheeks and foreheads of local women. This is thanaka, a powder made from the bark and roots of a tree that has been used for nearly 2,000 years. Thanaka not only serves as a cosmetic, but is also believed to cool the skin, reduce acne, and provide sun protection in the tropical climate. Over 70% of women in Myanmar use thanaka daily, creating a distinctive look that attracts the attention of cosmetic brands worldwide. Beyond its beauty value, thanaka is also considered an important cultural symbol and has been recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage requiring preservation. In villages near the border, Kayan women wear brass rings around their necks from childhood. According to elders, these rings were once considered protective amulets, shielding girls from tigers or the risk of being abducted by other tribes. Over time, the rings have become more than just protective objects. They are symbols of pride and connection to their roots. Kayan girls grow up to the jingling of brass around their necks and to hear stories around the fireplace about their grandmothers, mothers, and the migrations of the past. Although many young people today have chosen not to wear the bracelets, the tradition lives on in memory as a long story about the identity, beliefs, and resilience of the entire community. In the remote mountainous regions of western Myanmar, Chin women wear traditional facial tattoos with unique patterns. Legend says that once, a king, infatuated with beauty, sent soldiers throughout the region to capture beautiful girls for his palace. To prevent their daughters from becoming victims, Chin families decided to tattoo their faces, transforming their radiant beauty into a strong and invulnerable one. The patterns on the forehead, cheeks, or chin not only have aesthetic significance but also serve as a cultural shield, linked to the family's beliefs and prayers. Although the custom has now ceased, these tattoos remain on the faces of older women as a living historical mark. Number 3. The country where men wear skirts every day. One of the things that surprises tourists when visiting Myanmar is the men wearing longyi, a traditional garment resembling a wrap skirt. Not only men, but also women wear longyi, though the way it's tied differs. Men tie the fabric at the front of their waist, while women tie it at their hips, creating a softer and more elegant look. In many countries like Scotland or India, similar attire is usually only used for ceremonies or formal events, but in Myanmar, the longyi is worn daily. A small survey in Yangon showed that over 80% of men wear longyi at least 5 days a week because they find it cool and suitable for the tropical climate. Many office workers and government officials still wear longyi to work, demonstrating that this traditional garment coexists with modern life. Along the streets from cities to rural areas, you'll easily find trays of betel nuts being sold everywhere. Chewing betel nut is considered a habit, deeply ingrained in daily life, so the image of smiling people with bright red teeth and lips is not uncommon. A study in Yangon indicated that the amount of betel nut consumed annually by Myanmar people is equivalent to the combined consumption of the European Union, the United States, and China. However, this habit is gradually being restricted due to concerns about the risk of oral cancer. Many cities have enacted regulations limiting spitting in public to maintain environmental hygiene, although enforcement remains challenging. In addition, Myanmar people typically eat only 2 meals a day, usually around 9 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon. Shrimp or fish are almost always present in these meals, as they believe the flavor is incomplete without these ingredients. People usually eat rice with their right hand, while the left hand is considered unclean due to personal hygiene concerns. When giving or receiving objects, using the right hand is considered more polite. In some traditional families, children are taught this rule from a young age as part of their daily etiquette. Finally, if you hear a Burmese girl utter 3 chuts while standing in a beer pub, understand that it's not a flirtatious signal, but a way to call a waiter. This action has become a common practice in the local culinary culture, and immediately after this signal, the waiter will usually bring more beer to the customer. Another interesting fact is that Burmese people often drink beer from teacups, creating a rustic yet very distinctive image in pubs. For foreign tourists, the combination of beer and teacups is often surprising, but for the people of Burma, it is a familiar part of their daily lives. Number 4. The longest-running civil war in Southeast Asia. Myanmar is facing a full-blown crisis, considered the most profound period of instability since the advent of modern times. The 2021 military coup that overthrew the democratically elected government plunged the country into a civil war lasting over 4 years, with conflicts spreading across many territories. More than 82,000 people have been killed, and over 3.2 million have been forced to flee their homes. Security has deteriorated to such an extent that Yangon, Myanmar's largest economic center, was ranked by Forbes as one of the 3 most dangerous cities in the world in 2024. Many residential areas are under unofficial curfews, with gunfire and explosions occurring sporadically at night. Currently, the military government controls only about 1/5 of the territory, while the rest is divided between ethnic armed groups, resistance forces, and local militias. In fact, this cycle of conflict has been brewing for decades. From 1948, when the Kayan forces emerged as the first national armed organization, Myanmar entered a prolonged period of conflict. With 135 ethnic groups and nearly 100 languages, the country has become a complex political space where new armed forces constantly emerge throughout its history. According to the Global Peace Index, Myanmar has consistently ranked among the 15 least peaceful countries in the world for almost 20 years. In the 2024 Vulnerable Countries Index, it is also ranked among the top 10 countries at highest risk of instability or collapse. The impact of the conflict is evident in the lives of the people. Many villages have been destroyed by fire during the fighting, a prime example being Kinma village, where over 40 gunmen set fire to a house, causing the flames to spread and burn down nearly half the houses in the village. The British Embassy accused the military of involvement in the incident, suspecting the village of supporting rebel forces. Many residents fled into the forests or to neighboring countries to avoid persecution. Myanmar's economy also sank deeper into crisis. Inflation caused the kyat to depreciate so severely that a kilogram of banknotes could be exchanged for just $10. The weakening local currency forced people to switch to US dollars for many daily transactions. Even at the airport, people who recognized foreign tourists often proactively offered to exchange money for convenience. On the BBC, a young man named Win Tan said that inflation had left families who once could afford meat with only white rice and salt. This decline in purchasing power made life increasingly difficult for the working class, while economic opportunities were almost frozen in many areas. Number 5. Social media is blocked in this country. In many other countries, the internet is a place where people connect, learn, and express their voices. In Myanmar, however, the internet has become an invisible battlefield between the people and the military government. Since 2021, the country has experienced over 450 internet outages, with many areas cut off for months at a time, leaving communities completely isolated. The most severely affected areas are those where people are resisting, such as Chin, Sagaing, Rakhine, and Karenni. There, when the internet is cut off, the outside world disappears, leaving people with only insecurity and word-of-mouth information. The internet cuts are not simply about preventing people from going online. They also serve as a cover. Before many airstrikes, electricity and internet are cut off first, so no one can call for help or record evidence. In just 4 years, over 8,000 aerial attacks have been recorded, claiming the lives of thousands of civilians. In some villages, people say that the moment the internet goes down is when they know something terrible is about to happen. By early 2025, a new law will be enacted, the cybersecurity law. It not only prohibits people from using VPNs to bypass firewalls, but also allows authorities to monitor people's online activity. Many could face fines or even imprisonment, simply for trying to read news from the outside world or contact relatives abroad. Familiar apps like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and WhatsApp will be blocked, and from 2024, even Signal will be inaccessible. For Myanmar people, this means a huge part of modern life will be shut down. Along with the internet, nighttime curfews have become a permanent part of life. In some areas, restrictions have been relaxed, but many others still live in anxiety every time night falls. The streets are quieter, the lights are turned off earlier, and a sense of unease always prevails. Number 6. The most ethnically diverse country in Southeast Asia. Myanmar is one of the most ethnically diverse countries in Southeast Asia, with over 135 ethnic groups living together. The Bamar are the largest ethnic group in Myanmar, numbering approximately 35 million people, accounting for 68% of the population. They control the government and military, and speak Burmese as the official language. In the Bamar community, men traditionally practiced a unique tattooing ritual, tattooing from the waist down to the knees. Boys aged 8 to 14 underwent a tattooing ceremony using sharp bamboo needles and ink made from ash and tree resin. The patterns often depicted tigers, dragons, the mythical Garuda bird, Pali characters, and swirling motifs symbolizing strength and courage. The Bamar believed that the tattoos were protective amulets in the lives of ancient warriors, warding off evil spirits and providing ancestral protection. Next is the Kayan, a society with a rare matriarchal structure in Southeast Asia. In many Kayan communities, women hold a central role in the family and spiritual life. Upon marriage, the husband joins his wife's community, and many important rituals are led by the elder women of the clan. The Kayan are also renowned for their handcrafted weaving, with brocade fabrics featuring patterns symbolizing their lineage, ancestral memories, and community stories. The Intha are known as the inhabitants of the water, with their unique one-legged rowing technique. The Intha live on Inle Lake, where stilt houses are built on the water and floating gardens drift with the wind. The most striking image is that of the men standing upright on the bow of their boats, one leg wrapped around the oar, their hands free to cast nets. This technique allows them to see further across the lake and maneuver their boats nimbly among the reeds and floating vegetable rafts, a skill unique to this region. The Mon are considered a bridge to ancient civilizations, the first to introduce Theravada Buddhism and the Pali script to Myanmar. From them, religious values, architecture, and Buddhist knowledge spread, laying the foundation for the religious culture of the entire Irrawaddy River basin. The imprint of the Mon people is not only in history, but also in ancient temples, Buddha statues, and religious festival traditions, where the memories of thousands of years continue to be preserved. Number 7. The most generous country in the world. Which country do you think is the most generous in the world? The US, Switzerland, or some wealthy nation? Not really. For many years, according to the World Giving Index published by CAF, the number one country has been Myanmar, a low-income country where people still face many hardships, yet people are more willing to give than anywhere else in the world. This seemingly paradoxical situation stems from the Theravada Buddhist tradition, where the spirit of dana, meaning almsgiving, is not about giving away surplus, but about sharing what one already possesses. Throughout Myanmar, you still see free water dispensers placed outside homes for passers-by, meals served at temples for anyone in need, and every morning, people quietly offer rice to monks as a natural part of their spiritual life. Even as the country plunged into crisis after 2021, with jobs lost, prices soaring, and many families forced to leave their homes, those values remained undimmed. Myanmar people continued to share food, pool resources to help neighbors, offer strangers a cup of tea, a bowl of rice, or a glass of beer simply to show that you are not alone in times of hardship. In Myanmar, wealth is not measured by money or possessions. It lies in kindness, in how people treat each other, and in the belief that by giving, they are preserving their community, their culture, and their national spirit, no matter how much life changes. Number 8. A city with 20-lane highways, completely deserted. Naypyidaw is one of the world's youngest capitals, having been established less than 2 decades ago. Construction began in 2002 in central Myanmar, about 320 kilometers north of the former capital, Yangon. The government hired at least 25 companies to participate in the construction, at a total cost exceeding $4 billion. Although declared the capital in 2005, it wasn't until 2012 that the infrastructure was fully developed to function as the national administrative center. Many scholars believe the relocation of the capital served strategic and security purposes, allowing the government to control the country from a more central location. The city is divided into distinct, functionally separate zones. Residential areas are uniformly planned, with rows of 4-story buildings featuring different colored roofs to distinguish residents' occupations. Ministry of Health employees live in the brown-roofed buildings, while those from the Ministry of Agriculture live in the green-roofed buildings. In most countries, the capital is usually the most vibrant and a major tourist destination, but Naypyidaw takes the complete opposite approach. Its vast open spaces and low population density create an unusual sense of emptiness for anyone visiting for the first time. Myanmar has a population of approximately 54 million, with 14 million concentrated in Yangon, while Naypyidaw has less than 1 million inhabitants. Notably, the city's planned area spans 7,154 kilometers, nearly 4 times the size of London and about 6 times larger than New York. This sheer size relative to the population means that many areas, such as parks, boulevards, and squares, are rarely visited. The most obvious sign of urban life is the sanitation workers tending to the trees and streets. Aside from them, crowds are rarely seen. Traffic congestion during rush hour is virtually non-existent in Myanmar's capital. Visitors can see roads as wide as 20 lanes, but with only a single car slowly moving in the middle, or a few pedestrians and cyclists scattered along quiet streets. This scene creates a surreal feeling, to the point that The Guardian once described Naypyidaw as a post-apocalyptic American suburb, both deserted and mysterious. Number 9. The world's only textile technique. In Myanmar, weaving is not just a traditional craft, it's a form of cultural resistance woven from threads, memories, and the resilience of the local women. When life is disrupted by conflict and displacement, the loom is carried along as a part of their soul, and each piece of fabric created is not just for wear, but to preserve the community's memory. In Mandalay, the achik is considered the jewel of Myanmar's weaving craft. The undulating patterns, like the waves of the Irrawaddy River, are created by 50 to 200 colorful shuttles moving simultaneously. Each piece of fabric can take months to complete. The achik is more than just clothing. It's a symbol of craftsmanship, skill, and cultural pride passed down through generations of female weavers. At Inle Lake, Intha women create lotus silk in a way unlike anywhere else, a technique unique in the world. They harvest lotus stems, gently pulling out delicate, spiderweb-like threads, joining short segments together before spinning them into yarn. Each meter of fabric is born from the scent of lake water, lotus mud, and patient hands, resulting in a slightly rough, light, and naturally pale brown fabric. This weaving craft exists only here, passed down from mother to daughter, not just as a means of livelihood, but as a ritual connecting people to the water, their ancestors, and the land they live on. In the Kayan region, the loom is not placed on a table, but tied to the weaver's waist. They lean back to tighten the thread, bending down to loosen it. Their entire body participates in the weaving, as if the person and the fabric breathe with each movement. The red, white, and indigo patterns on the fabric indicate the wearer's lineage or village. In the north, the Kachin people's fabrics feature bold, tightly woven patches of black, red, and dark blue. Some fabrics were used only for weddings, others for warrior festivals, and some patterns were only permitted for elders to wear. The fabric thus became a symbol of status and tradition. Number 10. Famous tourist destinations in Myanmar. Bagan is located in central Myanmar, in the Mandalay region, an arid area along the Irrawaddy River. Viewed from above, it resembles a miniature desert with its reddish-yellow soil stretching to the horizon. The complex covers approximately 104 square kilometers and contains thousands of temples, mostly built in the 11th to 12th centuries, a period of transition from Mahayana Buddhism to Theravada Buddhism. In 2019, Bagan was recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site for its historical and architectural value and the continuation of religious traditions over the centuries, and is considered one of the largest surviving treasures of Buddhist architecture in Asia. A memorable experience in Bagan is watching the sunset. Visitors can choose to visit the taller temples like That Binyu or Damayangi, but the most popular spot remains the Shwesandao Pagoda, also known as the Sun Pagoda, thanks to its particularly impressive sunset views. The dry, sunny climate with few clouds makes the sunset behind the ancient temple towers feel like a cinematic scene. Further south in Myanmar lies the Kogun Caves near Hpa-an, an ancient limestone cave on a hillside where natural landscapes and religious art blend to create a sacred space. Inside the caves are thousands of Buddha statues of all sizes, placed closely together from the rock floor to the ceiling. Some are gilded, while many others are carved from limestone, wood, clay, or marble. The number is so vast that it has been said that even a 500-ton ship could not hold half of them. Visitors must remove their shoes before entering the caves, so wearing easily removable sandals is more convenient. In 2007, the site underwent extensive restoration to preserve the rock structure and its ancient religious value. Today, the Kogun Caves still house thousands of Buddha statues in various artistic styles. Besides Buddhist influences, there are also details with Hindu nuances reflecting the cultural exchange in Myanmar's history. Kogun is both a sacred pilgrimage site and a living museum of ancient beliefs and art, attracting scholars and international tourists every year. Number 11. The country that supplies 90% of the world's rubies. For decades, Myanmar was considered one of the wealthiest and most powerful nations in Southeast Asia, playing a pivotal role in regional trade and being a major rice exporter in Asia. In the early 1960s, its GDP per capita reached approximately $670, a very high income at the time, 3 times that of Indonesia, twice that of Thailand, and second only to the Philippines. Many economists believed that, if properly managed, Myanmar could become a strong economic hub in Asia, with its once vibrant major cities attracting traders from India, China, and Europe. Besides its economic potential, Myanmar also possessed a skilled workforce thanks to its excellent education system and high literacy rate, supporting the development of many industries. Simultaneously, its abundant natural resources played a key role in the nation's strength. Myanmar possesses large ruby reserves and once supplied up to 90% of the world's rubies, generating significant revenue, although much of it was smuggled through Thailand and Hong Kong before being exported to Western and Asian markets, resulting in years of significant foreign exchange losses for the state. Besides gemstones, Myanmar is also renowned for its durable and water-resistant teak wood. Mature trees can reach heights of up to 40 meters and trunk widths of 60 to 80 centimeters, making the wood suitable for shipbuilding, furniture, handicrafts, and many high-end products. For decades, teak shipments were a crucial source of foreign exchange, contributing to Myanmar's reputation as the Kingdom of Teak. However, in modern times, Myanmar faces a stark contrast to its past economic landscape. According to the International Monetary Fund, its current GDP is approximately $68 billion with a population of 55 million. Its economic size is only about 1.5 times larger than Cambodia's, despite having nearly 3 times the population. The average per capita income is around $1,200 per year, even lower than Cambodia and East Timor. Researchers attribute this decline to political instability, poor economic management, and resource exploitation that does not benefit the general population. Number 12. The unique cuisine of Myanmar. Mohinga is considered a quintessential Myanmar breakfast dish. Since ancient times, it has been a familiar breakfast for laborers and has gradually appeared in festivals, taking on more cultural value than just an everyday meal. Mohinga also reflects a sense of community as people gather at small roadside stalls to enjoy it together. Its distinctive flavor comes from the rich fish broth, blended with lemongrass, onions, and garlic. When eaten with soft rice noodles, boiled eggs, and crispy fried tortillas, the dish creates a warm and comforting feeling. In contrast to the familiarity of Mohinga, fried insect snacks offer a challenging experience. The insects are often left with their eyes, wings, and legs intact, creating a feeling of both apprehension and curiosity. When chewed, the crispy shell makes a delightful sound, while the natural richness from the protein combined with traditional spices creates a flavor distinctly different from regular meat. For many Western tourists, overcoming the initial fear is the most memorable part of the experience. Shan noodles offer a more intimate and refined experience. Locals use fresh rice noodles, chicken or pork, and seasonal herbs to preserve the full flavor. The meat is slow simmered to create a natural sweetness, and the noodles are blanched just right to maintain their chewiness. When the bowl of noodles is served, the steam, combined with the aroma of garlic oil, creates a warm and inviting feeling. The distinctive flavor lies in the light broth, the nutty taste of peanuts, and a hint of sourness from lime. While Shan noodles are gentle, duck blood soup is a cultural challenge for many foreign visitors. Myanmar people believe fresh blood provides energy and is considered nutritious. However, its deep red color, metallic smell, and thick consistency make many hesitant. Eating fresh blood mixed with spices and minced offal creates a strong visual impact and reflects the culinary differences between cultures. In some regions, this dish only appears on special occasions or traditional gatherings. Concluding the culinary journey is lapet thok, a fermented tea leaf salad that plays a special role in the lives of the Myanmar people. Served as an appetizer to aid digestion and featured in welcoming ceremonies, it signifies the host's respect. Unlike typical salads, lapet thok has a unique texture with soft yet slightly chewy tea leaves, combined with crispy roasted peanuts and fragrant sesame seeds. The fermented tea leaves have a slightly sour and bitter taste, creating a contrast between softness and crispness. In many families, sharing a plate of lapet thoke is also seen as a symbol of unity and togetherness. Number 13. Unique cultural festivals. The Thingyan Festival holds a special place in Myanmar's cultural life as it is the New Year celebration according to the Theravada Buddhist calendar. Rooted in beliefs about rebirth and spiritual purification, the festival carries profound spiritual significance. In mid-April, cities like Yangon and Mandalay come alive as people flock to the streets to participate in water-throwing activities, watch traditional performances, listen to street music, and enjoy food unique to the festival season. Thingyan is seen as a ritual to cleanse away misfortune and welcome the new year with a sense of peace and community. Many families also visit temples to make offerings and pray for a prosperous new year, demonstrating the combination of festivities and spiritual life in a single event. Following this lively period, the Thadingyut festival takes on a more tranquil and solemn character, emphasizing gratitude and filial piety. The legend of the Buddha's return to Earth after preaching to his mother forms the basis for this ritual of gratitude. In October, Myanmar is illuminated by thousands of lanterns lit at temples, along streets, and in front of every house, creating a shimmering, sacred atmosphere. People prepare small oil lamps themselves, arrange them in rows, and light them together to symbolize the light of wisdom. In many localities, children also visit elders and receive blessings, making the festival a time for connecting generations. Next is the Phang Dao U Festival at Inle Lake in Shan State, reflecting the strong religious beliefs of the local community. The festival takes place in the 9th lunar month, with a procession of Buddha statues on dragon boats through villages along the lake, combined with boat races, art performances, and a folk fair. This is an opportunity for people to show their reverence for the Buddha and strengthen the spirit of unity among communities around Inle Lake. The boats participating in the ceremony are elaborately decorated and steered by oarsmen standing on one leg, creating a distinctive image of Inle culture. Finally, the Taungyi Balloon Festival offers a vibrant and creative atmosphere. Held in Taungyi City in November, the festival originated from the custom of releasing lanterns for blessings. Over time, the event evolved into a large-scale hot air balloon competition, where meticulously decorated balloons take to the sky amidst music and fireworks. This moment symbolizes joy, imagination, and hope for a peaceful and prosperous new year for everyone. Number 14. Cost of living in Myanmar. If you plan to study, work, or settle in Myanmar, researching the cost of living beforehand will help you proactively plan your finances, especially for those unfamiliar with the varying costs by region. Regarding accommodation, rent is the biggest expense. In central Yangon, a one-bedroom apartment typically costs between $350 and $500, while areas further from the center are commonly priced between $180 and $280 per month. The suburbs are quieter and more budget-friendly. Daily transportation is quite convenient. Buses and minibuses cost between $0.20 and $0.60 per trip. Taxis and ride-hailing services cater to short trips at $1 to $2, while car rentals range from $20 to $30 per day excluding fuel. Many foreigners also choose to use motorbikes or scooters for short distances due to low operating costs and ease of maneuvering during peak hours. Food costs depend on individual habits. Cooking at home helps keep expenses at $100 to $140 every 4 weeks. Eating at local eateries costs $1 to $1.80 per meal, while better quality restaurants range from $3.50 to $70. Traditional markets in Yangon and Mandalay often sell vegetables, rice, and spices at cheaper prices than supermarkets, so many locals combine shopping at both to balance cost and food quality. Utilities, electricity and water, typically range from $25 to $40 per month, while home internet costs around $15 to $25. Overall, a single person needs approximately $500 to $700 per month to live comfortably. If saving money is a priority, total spending might be around $400, while those who eat out frequently or travel often may spend $900 or more. Number 15. Things you need to know before traveling to Myanmar. When exploring Myanmar, travelers should be aware of the diverse terrain, ranging from plains to high mountains, while transportation infrastructure remains limited in many areas. In rural and mountainous regions, roads are often in poor condition, signposts are scarce, and mobile phone signals are unreliable, making navigation and calling for help difficult. To minimize risks, it's advisable to hire a local driver instead of driving yourself, carry a paper map, download offline maps, and inform your hotel or family of your itinerary. Avoid traveling at night in remote areas. Some highland roads have steep curves and are prone to seasonal landslides, so travelers should check road conditions before departure. Travelers should also exercise caution in areas with ethnic conflict or controlled by armed forces, such as Rakhine, Shan, and Kachin. These areas often have checkpoints, patrol forces, and a risk of unexpected confrontations. The most effective safety measures are to follow advisories from embassies and official sources, avoid border areas, and always carry your passport and identification documents for presentation when needed. If traveling to remote areas, travel with a licensed guide and register your itinerary with the authorities. When visiting temples, visitors must go barefoot to show respect, even if the surface is hot or dirty, as this can cause minor burns, scratches, or skin irritation. Preparing disposable socks, wiping your feet with antibacterial wet wipes, and checking your feet regularly will help reduce the risk. Additionally, avoid stepping into standing water after rain, as the water may contain bacteria or mud. Power outages and water shortages still occur in some areas, especially during the summer or in remote areas, affecting device charging, food storage, and daily life during long trips. Travelers should bring a large-capacity power bank, a small flashlight, and at least 2 liters of bottled water for each leg of their journey. When booking accommodation, prioritize properties with backup generators and avoid consuming food that will be left out for too long in hot weather. In some areas, power outages can last for many hours, so prepare a flexible itinerary to avoid being caught off guard. Myanmar is a country of paradoxes, beautiful yet full of loss, strong despite its instability. But above all, what makes this country truly special is the resilience and compassion of its people. Of the stories about Myanmar you've just discovered, which one touched you the most? Share your feelings in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to continue our exploration journeys.